Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Today, we're plunging into a world you probably interact with every single day, maybe without even realizing it. We're talking about the booming universe of women's activewear and sportswear. I mean, think about it from your morning coffee run to, picking up the kids. These clothes are everywhere now, way beyond just the gym. So just to be clear, what exactly is women's activewear? Well, it's clothing specifically designed for physical stuff, sports, fitness routines, but, and this is the key thing, it also has this huge everyday fashion appeal. We mean everything from yoga pants, leggings,
Yeah, the leggings.
comfortable joggers, sports bras, performance tops, and of course sneakers.
Yeah.
All of it. Okay, so our mission today, we want to unpack the market trends, look at the, frankly, astonishing growth, global shifts in this industry. And we're getting our insights from the Global Women's Activewear Market Growth and Trends Report by Cognitive Market Research.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting area right now because it's not just about, clothes. It's reflecting a massive shift in how we live, how we exercise, even how we socialize sometimes. The numbers, they really tell a story about culture changing, which is why this market is so dynamic.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's kick off with the overall growth story. It's pretty incredible. Ready for some big figures?
Hit us with them.
All right. The global market value for women's activewear and sportswear. Back in 2021, it was already a staggering $183.4 billion.
Alrighty, huge.
But here's where it gets really interesting. It's projected to nearly double. Get this, $349.6 billion. That's a projection for 2033.
Wow.
Yeah. And the compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, is over 5.5% from 2025 onwards. That kind of steady growth, it really signifies something deep, right? Not just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, exactly. What's fascinating, I think, is how clearly these numbers show that massive shift in consumer behavior we mentioned. You can kind of break down the drivers into three main things. First, there's this rising health consciousness globally. People are just more focused on fitness, on well-being.
Makes sense.
Second, and this is a huge deal, is the athleisure trend. Workout gear becoming everyday wear. It's completely seamless now.
Totally.
And third, crucially, we're seeing more and more women participating in fitness and sports.
Yeah.
At all levels, pros, amateurs, weekend warriors.
So boiling it down,
Yeah.
what does this mean for you listening? Well, it means activewear isn't just about shaving seconds off your run anymore. It's a lifestyle. And the market is absolutely reflecting that. If you've found yourself grabbing leggings instead of jeans for just a casual thing, you're part of this massive global shift.
You really are.
Okay, so now let's zoom in a bit, look at different parts of the world. Where should we start? How about North America? It's always been a big player. So North America's market for women's activewear, it was valued over $46 billion back in 2021. And the projection, over $82 billion by 2033, still huge growth.
Yeah, and within North America, no surprise, the United States is the dominant force. It was $37 billion in 2021 on its own, and that's heading towards over $64 billion by 2033.
$64 billion, just the U.S.
Just the U.S. But, it's not only the U.S. Canada and Mexico are also showing really robust, steady growth. Canada's looking at over $15 billion by 2033. Mexico heading towards nearly $3 billion. It really shows this activewear lifestyle is embedded across the whole continent. It's a mature market, sure, but it keeps innovating, keeps setting trends.
Right. North America often does feel like the trendsetter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the established powerhouse. But let's shift focus now. Let's look at Europe, another really significant market. It generated over $54 billion in 2021. And that's expected to swell to over $98 billion by 2033.
Yeah, Europe's interesting because it's quite diverse. Germany leads the pack there. It went from just over $10 billion in 21, projected to hit over $18 billion by 2033.
Okay.
But then you have the UK, France, Italy, all really significant contributors too. Each of them is projected to be well over $10 billion, maybe even toward $15 billion for France by 2033.
And the styles must vary a bit more there.
Oh, absolutely. You see cultural nuances, maybe a stronger focus on, say, sustainable activewear in some Nordic countries, or that blend of high fashion and athletic wear you see in Italy or France.
Right.
And yeah, you mentioned others, Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, even Luxembourg, they're all showing impressive sustained growth. It's pretty widespread across the continent.
Okay, so we've got the Americas, Europe, established growing markets. But if we're talking truly explosive growth, we have to talk Asia Pacific.
Yeah.
The market size there was over $57 billion in 2021. But listen to this jump. Expected to surge to almost $117 billion by 2033.
It's massive, just massive.
Where's that coming from mainly?
Well, China is a clear leader.
Yeah.
definitely a key driver. They recorded nearly $18 billion in sales back in 21. That's projected to reach over $35 billion by 2033. And it's not just population size, right? It's also rapid digital adoption, a huge e-commerce scene.
Okay, China's huge. Who else?
Japan is another strong player, growing from nearly $10 billion to over $18 billion in that same time frame. Stable, strong growth. But the real, eye-opener in Asia-Pacific, it has to be India.
India. What are we seeing there?
We're seeing a truly significant jump. It's rocketing from just under $9 billion in 2021 to an expected $21.8 billion by 2033.
Wow, nearly $22 billion. That's huge growth.
It really is. And it's driven by, well, a massive young population, a rapidly growing middle class investing more in health and wellness, and also, digital platforms making activewear much more accessible, even outside the big cities.
That figure for India is staggering. It really just highlights how global this whole thing is, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you've got other significant players, too, like South Korea, Australia, Singapore, all contributing to this rapid expansion across APAC. Each has its own flavor, K-pop influencing trends in South Korea, that big outdoor fitness culture in Australia. It's dynamic.
Okay, fascinating. Now, let's quickly cover the other regions. Let's group them a bit. First up, South America. Their market hit over $11.7 billion in 2021. Expected growth to over $23.6 billion by 2033.
Right. And Brazil's the clear leader down there. It's going from just over $5 billion in 21 to projected over $10 billion by 2033. But Argentina and Colombia are also showing strong growth. It really shows the trend taking hold across the continent, often tied into things like, football culture or dance.
Okay. Then, shifting to the Middle East, their women's activewear market reached over $7 billion in 21.
Yeah.
And the forecast is growth to over $15 billion by 2033.
Saudi Arabia leads the way there. Over $2 billion in 21, projected towards $4.5 billion by 2033. Turkey and the UAE are also growing significantly. You're seeing rising incomes, evolving social norms in some places, and definitely more investment in fitness facilities across that region.
And finally, Africa. The market stood at nearly $7 billion in 2021, projected to grow to almost $13.6 billion in 2033.
Yeah, and Nigeria is a real standout in Africa, growing from over $3.1 billion in 21 to over $5.8 billion predicted for 2033. South Africa also contributes a lot, moving towards $5.6 billion. The growth drivers there often linked to, urbanization, a very youthful population, and just increasing access to fitness options, even though the market's still developing in many parts. And if we sort of tie this all together, these regional numbers, they just vividly show how truly global this activewear phenomenon is. It adapts,
Right.
to different needs, different cultures, different economies.
So let's try and wrap this up. The big takeaway seems clear. The global women's activewear market is seeing really significant sustained growth. It's being driven by these fundamental lifestyle shifts, health, fitness, and that huge fashion integration. We've seen the scale. Hundreds of billions now, heading towards, well, much, much larger figures. It's undeniably a massive force. In the economy, yes, but also just in our daily lives.
Exactly. Which I think raises an important question for you, the listener. Given this consistent growth, this blending of activewear and just everyday clothes, what do these numbers really suggest about future trends? In clothing, yes, but also lifestyle. Will we see a complete merging? Performance wear just becomes casual wear? Or will new, maybe super specialized niches pop up? And what does that mean for how brands design stuff, how they market it, and ultimately how you might shop for clothes down the road?
Definitely something to think about next time you're looking in your closet. We really encourage you to reflect on your own choices maybe and how they fit into this huge global picture. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're going to trace this really incredible transformation of something you probably have on right now, or wore recently anyway. Women's activewear.
Yeah.
It's not really about fashion anymore, is it? Or even just the gym. It feels like it's become this huge cultural thing, like a real lifestyle shift. It's changing how we move, definitely how we dress, and even how brands are talking to us.
Precisely. Yeah, our deep dive today is really all about getting under the hood of that, understanding the powerful forces behind this huge shift in the women's activewear and sportswear market.
Sure.
We've looked at our sources, pulled out the insights to figure out, okay, what's actually driving this massive growth? But also, what are the maybe surprising hurdles brands are hitting, and what looks like it's going to define the future here? We want to give you the whole picture, really, the full story of why activewear sort of became the symbol of modern life.
Okay. Okay, let's dig into that then. If it's everywhere now, what's the real, like the core engine behind this incredible surge? What actually kicked off this boom?
So at its heart, it's really this global explosion in women's participation in fitness and wellness too.
Right.
We're talking everything from, yoga, Pilates, running, HIIT, that high intensity stuff, and let's not forget the huge rise in home workouts, virtual classes.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
And this isn't just a quick trend. It feels like sustained demand, really pushed along by that post-pandemic focus on health. Mental well-being, too. People found they loved moving and they wanted clothes that actually worked for that new lifestyle.
And it feels like what people expect now isn't just, does this work in the gym anymore, right? There's this blend. Like the gear needs to perform, sure, but it also has to look good enough for, I don't know, grabbing coffee, streetwear.
You've absolutely nailed it. That's a critical point. Brands have definitely picked up on that changing expectation. They're investing, like, serious money in versatile collections, things that aren't tied to one season. Stuff that combines the high-tech performance features, moisture-wicking, breathable fabrics with aesthetics that just fit into your everyday life. It's function meeting fashion, basically.
Which, okay, that brings us to something really interesting. You said it's a lifestyle. Can you unpack that a bit? What does that actually look like when activewear stops being just for the workout and gets woven into, well, daily life? I mean, I definitely remember when wearing leggings outside the gym was sort of frowned upon.
Oh, completely.
Now it's like the uniform for getting things done.
It's so true. And the real insight here, I think, isn't just that athleisure is everywhere. It points to this deeper cultural shift. It's almost like a quiet rejection of old school formal dress codes, Comfort and function, they've sort of been elevated. They have this new status. And that's fundamentally changing how we interact, professionally and socially. We're seeing women reach for performance tanks, supportive sports bras, leggings, joggers as their standard outfit for remote work, running errands, doing the school run, even meeting up with friends. Yeah, think about those high-waisted leggings. The ones with compression, maybe moisture wicking.
Yep, got a few pairs myself.
Right. They're great for spin class, sure, but now you see them all the time on Zoom calls or just wearing them out on the weekend. It really shows how deeply this style has sunk into daily life. It's a go-to for being adaptable and comfortable.
So with this massive pivot in how activewear is seen and used, how are the really big global brands adapting? Your Nikes, your Lululemons. What are they doing specifically to meet this trend?
They're definitely adapting significantly. These big players, they're clearly responding. You see it in the neutral color palettes they're offering now. Much more focus on size-inclusive designs, too. And they're leaning into those, limited edition drops, the ones that create buzz and that feeling of exclusivity. It's all about meeting people where they are now, which honestly seems to be everywhere wearing activewear. And moving beyond just athleisure, our sources are really highlighting inclusivity as another just massive growth driver. And honestly, it looks like it's becoming our straight-up economic necessity for brands.
Right.
There's been this really noticeable shift away from just pushing that one kind of idealized, super athletic body image. Instead, brands are finding they have to embrace real representation, diversity, because people are actively looking for brands that reflect them, their reality, not just some aspiration.
So okay, it's the right thing to do, obviously.
Yeah.
But what does that inclusivity actually look like in practice for brands, boots on the ground? And how does that actually turn into, like, winning customers?
Yeah.
Market share?
In practice, it means brands offering way more sizes, extended sizing, developing specific maternity collections, designing performance gear that's genuinely cut and shaped for different body types, not just scaled up or down. In these efforts, they're clearly building stronger loyalty. And yes, they're absolutely driving shifts in market share. When you see campaigns featuring women of different sizes, different ages, various ethnicities, that resonates way more deeply. Especially, it seems, with millennials and Gen Z. Authenticity is huge for them.
Yeah, and this whole inclusivity focus, it's actually opened the door for some of these newer direct-to-consumer brands. Think like Outdoor Voices or Girlfriend Collective. They've been able to really challenge the big established players.
How so?
Well, they build their appeal not just on the product itself, but through these value-driven stories. And by really focusing on building a community around the brand, they attract this super loyal following because people feel seen, feel reflected by the brand.
Okay, but every market that's booming like this has its challenges, right? It can't all be smooth sailing. What are some of the restraints, the hurdles facing this really dynamic activewear market?
You're absolutely right. There are definitely significant hurdles. One really big one is price sensitivity.
Those high-performance fabrics, the sustainable materials everyone wants now, adding tech integrations, it all pushes the price up. Often you're looking at over $100 for just one item, like leggings or a jacket.
Right as a pest.
Exactly. And that limits who can actually afford it, particularly in emerging markets, maybe Southeast Asia, Latin America, or even just among middle-income consumers everywhere. If the price is too high, people might just go for fast fashion versions or even knockoffs. They get the look, maybe, but not the quality. So brands really need to think about maybe entry-level lines or pricing things differently in different regions. Otherwise, they risk losing those buyers. Another huge headache, just the sheer number of counterfeit and look-alike products out there, especially online.
Oh, I bet.
As athleisure style becomes mainstream, you get all these unregulated sellers online flooding the market with stuff that looks similar but costs way less.
Right.
These knockoffs, they don't just chip away at the original brand's revenue. They can really damage their reputation if the quality is bad or the fit is terrible, and people associate that failure with the real brand, so the leading companies. They're finding they have to invest more in things like brand authentication, really enforcing their copyrights and making sure their products have unique features that are hard to copy. It's about protecting their value. And then, of course, there are the growing environmental concerns. This is a big one. A lot of performance fabrics, your nylon, elastane, polyester, they come from petrochemicals. And when you wash these clothes, they shed tiny plastic fibers, microplastics.
Right. I've read about that.
Yeah, and that contributes to pollution. So as sustainability becomes more and more important for shoppers, like a deciding factor brands that only use these synthetics, without offering greener options, they're facing more criticism. People expect transparency now. Where did this come from? Is the packaging recyclable? Can I return this when I'm done with it? Brands like Patagonia, Pangaea, they're really pushing the envelope here, setting benchmarks. It puts pressure on everyone else to step up or risk looking out of touch, especially long term.
So putting all that together, where does this leave us? What does it all mean for what's coming next? What are the kind of emerging trends that are really set to shape the future of this market?
Looking ahead, one of the really exciting areas is definitely the integration of smart textiles. Wearable tech actually woven into the clothes.
Ooh, interesting. Like what?
Well, we're talking about garments with, say, biometric sensors built in, or fabrics that can regulate your temperature, even clothes that give you performance analytics. Imagine like leggings that track your running form in real time, or a sports bra that monitors your heart rate constantly. This stuff is moving from just being cool prototypes to actual products people can buy. And it really appeals to those, data-loving fitness folks, athletes who want that instant feedback. And the direct-to-consumer thing, DTC, that's also just fundamentally changing how brands and customers interact.
Right. Selling straight from their website or social media.
Exactly. These niche activewear brands, they're kind of bypassing traditional stores altogether. They use Instagram, TikTok, fitness forums. They market directly to their specific communities. They do limited edition drops, team up with influencers, offer really personalized shopping. It creates huge buzz.
Yeah, you see that all the time.
Brands like Alo Yoga, Set Active, they're masters at this. They sell a lifestyle, not just clothes.
Yeah.
And this model, it lets them get feedback super quickly, iterate on products faster, and build this much deeper kind of emotional connection with their customers. And lastly, this is maybe the most crucial one. Like, sustainability isn't just nice to have anymore. It's becoming a competitive must.
Yeah, feels that way.
So brands are increasingly launching collections using recycled materials like recycled polyester, organic cotton, bamboo fibers, non-toxic dyes. We're also seeing more interest in circular fashion ideas, things like repair services, resale platforms where you can sell used gear, textile recycling programs, all aimed at cutting down waste, making clothes last longer. And Gen Z consumers especially, they are really tuned into ethical sourcing, environmental impact, so brands that show a genuine, transparent commitment to sustainability, they're just a much better place to win that long-term loyalty.
So, okay, pulling all these threads together, it sounds like the women's activewear and sportswear market isn't just getting bigger. It's really morphing into this whole lifestyle category, driven by these changing ideas about health, about identity, sustainability, and digital connection, too. It's a really dynamic space.
Precisely. Yeah, the brands that look set to really lead in this pretty vibrant, definitely competitive space, they're the ones who are truly innovating. Across the board, fabric tech, genuine inclusivity, smart pricing, and showing real environmental responsibility.
So, something to think about as you go about your day. How might these trends you see booming in activewear? How might they reflect bigger shifts in other industries you interact with? What new ways are you seeing brands try to connect with your values, beyond just selling you a product?